for the business. Now, when it comes to employees are considered to be the biggest asset of any company. Yeah. So when we say a company, let's say investing in infrastructure, or for that matter, a company investing, let's say, in technology. So these kind of investments that companies make, they make it once, and for the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years, they don't really look into it. It continues, and they wouldn't be updating or upgrading any of these anytime sooner once they've made the investment. But when it comes to an employee working in an organization, they are considered to be the biggest asset because the company is investing month on month in the form of salaries, in the form of benefits towards this employees. So hence, for any business, they become the biggest assets wherein there is constantly recurring investment which is put on this particular employee. Now, at the same time, of course, it is the employee who, in return, also helps in productivity, in profitability for the business. So it's like a two-way kind of an exchange, but mainly for an organization, employees, even when it comes to their visas, when it comes to their insurances or any other form of benefits, they all come at a very high cost, right? So considering all these factors, we look at employees to be one of the biggest business investments that any company would make. Now, for example, if I have to ask you, let me ask you, Maria, this. Now, if you have purchased something, when you've put good enough money into it, right? And you've purchased, let's say, something which is an asset to you, probably, let's say, a diamond ring, for example. Okay. Now, once you purchase this diamond ring, okay, would you just leave it on the table unattended? Would you just use it, let's say, for daily rough and tough use? Would you use it that way?
No.
Okay.
I would buy jewelry box.
Okay.
And also, if it's like really like a big diamond, I will use it on special occasions.
Very nice.
But not everyday use.
Why would you not want to use it every day? You've put so much money into it. Why not for daily use?
Because first, for security, I mean, it would attract other people interest.
Okay.
And also because I put big money on it, so I won't use it every day, so as not it would not have any tear or any scratches.
Very good, very nice. And all of this, so basically, if I have to put it in short, you would take special care of it.
Yes.
Right, because it's very valuable to you. You
Yes.
put in so much of money,
Yes.
and based on that, you want to take special care so that it does not get impacted. Right.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Now, likewise, in the very same form, when I am mentioning or while I'm relating this to employees who are the biggest assets to every organization, right? So likewise, we are expected to try to nurture them, to try to, preserve them, develop them, build their loyalty towards the organization because they come with that high level of investment to the company. Yeah. So within today's session, key things that we'll be discussing of is number one, understanding what this engagement means a little bit more deeper. Yeah. From it's not only like I said earlier, it's not only a give and take for the employee, but it goes even more wider and deeper into it. Another thing that we would like to discuss is when it comes to engagement, what is the crux of employee engagement, how it has changed over the years, and what are some things that we need to do as, let's say, managers, as a part of human resources, in order to develop and keep this employee motivated within the organization. Okay, so we'll start off by defining this terminology. What do we mean by the term engagement? So when I'm saying engagement, let's take it in a generic context first, and then we will try to relate to it from an organizational perspective. So when I'm using the term engagement, what the my screen? The one speaking online? Ivan, Praveen, Glade.
Hello, sorry. Yes. Sorry again.
Yes, doctor. Yes, yes.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, any one of you who would like to share what do we mean by the term engagement?
If I may, it's a very big term, especially in a corporate, because it should be two way. And
Very good.
here the engagement should be from employee with his direct line, and also from direct line to the employee.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. I have a very strong thought that you mentioned that it shouldn't be a one-way kind of engagement, but it has to be a two-way type of engagement. So it's not enforced from one side, but it comes, let's say, proactively from both the perspectives. Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Khalil, you got me. Oh, Ayman, let's hear it from you, Ayman.
Yes, actually, doctor, we need to focus on the both, the both satisfaction, the employee satisfaction and the company satisfaction.
Very good. Very good. So satisfaction. Very nice. Very strong alignment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very strong term again. Relationship. Thank you so much, Khalid, for drawing this one. Probably, I guess you wanted to say something. Right. Right. Very strong. Thank you so much.
Doctor, we can mention communication skills.
Communication from a skill perspective, okay, but I will say communication more from an organization per se. Yeah,
Okay.
to make
Yeah.
to have the employees, communicated for them to be updated, right?
Yes, right, doctor.
Very good, great. So when we're looking at engagement, of course, we have the key terms over here. If we have to look at it, probably from a very generic, something that we all can connect to. Let's say, for example, in our day-to-day lives, we do tend to say that we get into a relationship, let's say with our partners for that matter. Yeah. Now, when we say this relationship with our partners, or when we say, I'm engaged to X or to her or to him whatsoever. So this engagement, we would have made this decision on several factors. Yeah. And what keeps this engagement or this connection, like you guys mentioned, constant, is the pillars or the fundamentals of it lies on very strong factors. One being respect. Yeah, when you respect your partner respects you. The second one, like mentioned, okay, I'll mention this, is on the basis of trust, right? When you trust each other. The third time, or the third strong terminology, is on the basis of understanding. And over here, I'm referring to mutual understanding between the two. Let's say to limit any kind of disagreements or any kind of conflicts with each other. So it's state of this. And of course, like you guys mentioned, it has to be there has to be communication, so transparency between both the people engaged into it, both the parts that are engaged into it. And when we look at an organization, we expect the same factors from our employees. So when we're saying employee engagement, when we're using this more in an organizational context, it still stays the same, right? So we still expect the employees to be respected, to be trusted, again, mutual understanding, transparency, and like you already rightly mentioned, it has to be a two-way kind of relationship. Yeah. So this crux of this relationship basically lies with these key factors and two ways: manager to employee, employee to manager, or anyone within the organization. Right. The objective of doing this is in order to build loyalty and to keep the employee motivated within the organization, right? Now, when we look at this, all of these are basically intangibles, okay? These are all, I would say, if we have to look at it, these are all none other than, but they are all feelings. We cannot touch it, we can experience it, right? Now, because they have feelings, the other fact is that most often these are unspoken feelings, which means an employee does not walk up and says, you know what, I want to be respected, I want to be trusted, I want to be, I want to have mutual understanding, so on and so forth. They do not voice these things out. So because they don't voice it out, it becomes, or it goes as unspoken. And because it is feeling based, it is very, very hard to define. And moreover, it becomes hard to even for you to meet these kind of expectations. Because again, we may never know how each employee responds or reciprocates to a particular action. Because at the end of the day, they are all humans, right? So every human has a different way of reacting to a particular experience. If you, let's say, three of you go into a restaurant and there is a server who is, let's say, helping you or serving you, then one may say, okay, fine, it's a good service. The other may say, it's mediocre, it's mid. The other one may have very high expectations. And we say, this is nowhere close to a good service, right? So as human beings, we have different kind of expectations and moreover, different ways of feeling, which is quite dynamic. And that is what makes employee engagement one of the difficult tasks for the organization to be, because it is unspoken. If an employee has a challenge, let's say, and the employee walks up to the manager or walks up to the HR and says, hey, I'm experiencing trouble with this particular personality or with this particular person, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z, then you know what you need to fix. The gap is evident or the issue is evident. So okay, fine, probably this person is bothering this other team member, so let me probably have a word, let me coach, let me give the person feedback and whatsoever. So over here, it is highlighted, it is spoken. But when it comes to this employee engagement, like I'm saying, most of it is unspoken. And that is what makes employee engagement quite challenging for many companies. Yeah? What I'm going to share with you is I've further broken down this employee engagement feeling in the form of a text, in the form of a phrase. And this is an actual citation of an employee who has been working in an organization for over 15 years. Okay, so the employee's feeling is a feeling of, this is what the words are. He says, great, I'm going to work. So he wakes up every day in the morning with this kind of feeling of greatness, that he's going to work. I know what I'm going to do today. I've got some great ideas about how to do it really well. I'm looking forward to seeing the team and helping them work well today. Yeah, this is an actual, I would say it's an actual quote, it's an actual phrase which is said by an employee who's associated with an organization sorry, for such a long duration of time. Now, if we try to understand this, the unspoken emotion aware, right? Let's take it by, sentence by sentence. For example, the very first sentence when he says, "Great, I'm going to work." What do you think is this feeling the employee has?
He's excited to go to work.
Very good. It's a feeling of excitement. It's a feeling of happiness. It's a feeling of motivation, right? Apparently, most of us have this kind of feeling, or we would have had this kind of feeling. We often experience this on the first day of our jobs. Yeah, when it's a new job, it's a new role, it's a new team, whatsoever. We tend to have this very high feeling of happiness and excitement. Unfortunately, as time passes by, this particular feeling tends to die off. And it becomes more of, oh, damn, I have to go to work. Yeah, it becomes that kind of a feeling, yeah, wherein you start getting caught up in the kind of, the work pressure, the deadlines, the tasks, that we eventually tend to miss out on the feeling of, to an extent, job security, that I still have a job. I am still hired in a company. This company, or I'm still able to earn my day-to-day living, or support my family with whatsoever they need, right? So it's a very special feeling, but unfortunately we tend to only think about it during the initial days, and as time passes by, we tend to miss out on that. Let's look at the next one. I know what I'm going to do today. Now, this feeling is a feeling of awareness. Yeah? Someone who is confident about what is expected out of them, and they're very clear about it. Most of us, we may wake up in the morning and we start thinking, what all will I need to do today? Yeah, I have so many different things to be done, and moreover, I'm very much uncertain of what is going to be assigned to me. So the job role has become so dynamic and ambiguous at the same time that we are unaware of the kind of tasks that we may be assigned or that we may be getting into. Because again, the roles are not clear. We don't understand expectations of the managers, or expectations of our stakeholders or of the organization. And sometimes we are expected to do anything and everything as well to support the organization. So over here, it's about eliminating that kind of feeling and instilling a feeling of confidence within the team, so that everyone is aware of their job role and how they are contributing towards the organization. Looking at the third one, I've got some great ideas about how to do it really well. It's purely about how an employee is able to deliver or communicate these ideas, yeah, in an organization which allows opportunities for employees to share ideas, right? Now, most of us, we come from this kind of thought that, we receive ideas, but we don't tend to share it or communicate it, right? But once the organization allows you that kind of platform for sharing ideas, wherein your ideas are, nurtured, your ideas are appreciated, your ideas are not criticized or made fun of, that makes you more confident in sharing all kinds of ideas. Okay? The last one, I'm looking forward to seeing my team and helping them work well today. Now, the last one is purely a feeling of teamwork. And this feeling of teamwork is an outcome of me having trust in my team members or in my colleagues. Imagine for a thought, you would have probably shared something very personal to you with one of your colleagues or your team members, and you told them, what, this is between you and me, don't share this with anyone else. And if that particular individual, let's say, would have communicated to somebody else, of course you would feel betrayed. And thereafter, you do not want to see that particular person because they did not respect what you told them, that to keep it private, to keep it confidential. So it's about building this level of trust, or having this level of trust between your employees, between your co-workers, where every day you are excited to go in that working environment and work with them so that you could, have you could enjoy the time that you are working together. I'll just let these two guys inside the session. Just a moment. Right. Okay. So coming back, so when we say what employee engagement is, or what is engagement, it's about a feeling wherein you understand your role within the organization. You are cited. When we say you are cited, there are many a times team managers don't know the names of the team members. Yeah, they often meet them, once in a while, probably for a performance evaluation or for a team meet, but they're not aware who this particular individual is. What is the name of the person? Yeah, so that can be a very demotivational factor for any team member wherein they are not cited, they are not seen, they are not recognized within the organization. Sometimes you would have had this particular feeling, wherein, let's say, you may be having an upsetting day at work, and you're just walking past your, let's say, your office, and a very senior manager greets you and says, hi, Marianne, how are you? How are you feeling today? The very thought or the very, voice of a senior manager, or let's say a manager taking your name, it starts to put you in a thought that how does he know me? How does he recognize me? Yeah,
it's very personalized.
Exactly, and that can change your state of mind. Even though you may be having a bad day, but just the person calling you or addressing you by your name, it puts you in that state of shock, a positive shock, of course. Okay, wherein you're wondering, wow, I have done something that probably this person knows me for what I have done. Yeah. So it's about getting this particular feeling of being cited. It energizes you, it motivates you, and it instills a lot of positive energy in you. We also, I can also say that engagement is also about knowing the organization's purpose and objectives and working towards it. Now, this is a very, I would say, this is something that we often miss out on. Yeah, I'm going to prove it to you guys. Let me ask you this. Most of us are working professionals, correct? How many of us, honestly, you need to answer this to me, how many of us know what is your company's vision or mission statement? I repeat, how many of us honestly know what is our company's vision or the mission statement? Is there anyone who can say confidently that yes, I am aware of it? Khalil, you're aware of this? Okay, good for you.
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. Also me, I am aware of this.
You are also aware of this? Very nice. It's good to know. Thank you for acknowledging this. So when it comes to knowing this vision, this mission, I'm sure most of us may not really know it. And it's not wrong from our end. When we think about this vision, this mission statement, every company, they spend a lot of time in creating or defining this vision and mission, right? Ironically, it is never communicated to employees. It's never driven to employees. So how can you expect to have your employees be a part of a team wherein they are not aware of the purpose, the vision, or what is the vision of the organization? Yeah, and most organizations have this. In fact, every company will have it. It will be on the company's website. It will be on probably in some wall printed in the office somewhere or the other. But apparently, when it comes to our team members, it has never been driven to them. And because it was never driven to us, we don't think of driving it for them, right? So we expect our employees to be a part of the team, but they are not aware of what the organization's vision or mission is. responsibilities, right? So there is again another gap, and moreover, this gap is because we have never ever related, we've never ever got, it was never driven to us, and unfortunately, everyone, though they are working under the same roof, they are working in the same environment, but there is no connection towards the organization. It becomes more of a very transactional kind of relationship, wherein, okay, I go to work, I complete my working hours, I do this kind of a task, my organization gives me my salary and whatever benefits it is, right? So it becomes very transactional. You miss out on the personalization or the connection with your organization. It's also about being given a voice to offer ideas and express views. So trust me on this, guys, all of us inside this room or attending this session, we all get ideas. We all will have got an idea on how we could make our work better, how it could be more simpler, how could the experience be better. But tell me honestly, how many of us actually discuss these ideas with our superiors?
For me, sometimes.
Sometimes.
But not all the time.
Not all the time. So what stops you from, sharing it all the time?
Because maybe I would think that it will apply to me, but I am not sure if they will apply to them. So the uncertainty is there.
Very true. Thank you so much for it. Now, most often we refrain or we restrict ourselves from sharing these ideas. We may do it sometimes, or some of us may never do it as well. Yeah. Why do we not share ideas? The most common responses is, people may say that I don't share it because I'm not sure, like you mentioned, I'm not sure that it's going to be a good idea, whether it can be implemented. I'm not sure whether it can be, even applied.
Yeah.
Some may say, I don't want to share an idea because I know it's not going to be taken. It's probably going to be ignored. Yeah. Some may say, I don't want to share it because my manager may criticize it. He may make fun of it. Others have this fear, if I share this idea, my manager will steal it. They will probably share it with the higher management and take all the credit, and I will not get any. Right? So there are a lot of these different conflicting thoughts where